Well, hello everyone. I would like to ask us all to think back on an experience that we had at AAPG that really had an impact, something that really made a difference. Maybe it was a person you met, a conversation, interacting with a poster presenter and hearing their passion for their subject, writing or reading a book or publication, learning about something new on a field trip, sequence boundaries, depositional environments, networking, reading a paper that gave you an insight, hearing a talk that brought you up to date on the latest discoveries, the latest techniques, and some of the most important science, or part of your own continuing education where you were able to learn about horizontal drilling or some of the latest techniques. Think for a minute. What was your special moment? Many APG members that I talk to have many special moments. I would like you, during the breaks and during the conference, to share some stories about your moments with your fellow participants at this conference. And I would be very happy to hear them. And if you like, you can send me an email. One of the special moments that I would like to recall happened recently, last year at the APG 100th Anniversary Convention in April in Houston. At a DPA Heritage Luncheon, we had an actor play Wallace Pratt who told us that anything is possible. Everything is possible. That room was magical. How many of you were there with me? It was packed, more than 300 people. In that moment, in that time, in that place, we believed anything was possible. We felt it. We were passionate. That is the story of our industry, and that is the story of APG, which is why my most favorite moment happened to me in 1997, 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, at an APG annual convention in Dallas, Texas, in a panel on legendary explorers organized by Jim Gibbs, who's now our APG Foundation chairman. Thank you, Jim. That panel was a panel of doers. These folks, you weren't going to tell them that they weren't going to get something done. Just because nobody had been to Alaska, just because nobody had been able to get a production sharing contract, just because no one had been able to go to various and difficult places all around the earth and not get it to produce, just because a field had already been produced and people thought there was nothing left. You couldn't tell these people that they couldn't do it. They did it. Anything was possible. And they believed it. And I believed it. And that is why this is my number one event from APG, because it inspired me. And I'd like to point out Michelle T. Halbody, who not only did he bring business and science together in an incredible way, but I admired greatly how he brought it all back to APG in the form of books and memoirs and papers and publications and presentations, and how he was able to bring it all back so that we could share from it. And he became a role model for me, and we became good friends. This program inspired me to my own journey of action, and I would like to share with you three programs that I've been involved with that were inspired by that program at Legends. The first of these programs is the HGS Legends program in my local society. And before I continue, I want to point out that's me over there as a young professional. Young professionals, listen up. Students, I was in my 30s when I started doing these programs. I was a young professional once too, believe it or not. George Mitchell told us in the very first panel in 2000, now 18 years ago, how he wasn't going to take no for an answer, and how the Barnett Shale was an overnight success, 20 years in the making. He wouldn't give up, and how anything was possible, and how he made it happen. His vision and perseverance, and that engineering and geology were going to combine and change our worlds. How prophetic that was 20 years ago. Because we can tell from the last 10 years that that vision has come to reality as we are experiencing a renaissance in energy. I would also like to point out when I organized the Legends program in 2003 that I had incredible people on that panel, and I am pleased, Robbie, I want to say thank you for being on that panel with me 15 years ago. I loved your stories about energy and oil and gas. But you know what I really find amazing about you more than anyone else I've ever met is your ability to go out and get men and women excited about geoscience and get them to participate and be a part of AAPG. You're an ambassador. And in the books and the projects that you've worked on, I thank you. I really believe that your efforts have been legendary. And I am glad that you participated in our panel. And I'm glad and thankful to you for all that you have done and continue to do. So now I would like to share the next big idea. I love stories about discoveries, and I had a feeling that maybe other people did too. So in 2008, I got my friends together and we started forming panels for APG annual conventions and international conventions later. And we've now, tomorrow, we'll have our 20th forum. And over 10 years, we've had close to 10,000 attendees. It's been a program that has been a joy to be a part of. I want to thank Ed Dolly, Paul Weimer, Ted Beaumont, and many others for helping chair these programs. And I want to thank the speakers. We made a promise 10 years ago for the 100th anniversary that we would like to get the greatest discoveries and find 100 amazing men and women to tell the tales. And we exceeded that goal. We've had over 115 speakers participate in this program. For me, the important question is not about the glorious discovery thinking panels of the past, but where will the new discoveries be, and who are going to be the future discovery thinkers? And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to suggest that many of the young people that you're going to see in the slides, this slide and slides to follow, they're going to be the ones to make the discoveries, and we are going to celebrate their success. The third program I'd like to share with you is the Playmaker program. When I was president of the Division of Professional Affairs, we created a program that was a one-day immersive session of 10 or 12 or 15 talks, all about discoveries, all about the latest plays in a particular hot plays, expert speakers in a particular area. We'd get together. It was intense, but it was productive. And at the end, the hallmark is we would have a reception, which gave us an opportunity to network. And we were very careful to make sure that we brought young professionals and students, not just to the reception, but for the entire program. And on the right, I'd like to point out my wife, Linda Sternbach, who has been passionate about providing videos and making videos of these programs so that they have become a resource on APG and DPA's website. And on the left is Harold Hamm, one of our first keynote speakers who really helped give that program a kickstart. So, in my experience, I've been fortunate to undergo several opportunities of new ways of thinking. And the reason that I want mention these things is that I want you to know what's important to me. And by the numbers of people who have turned out over the years, APG members, I believe that these things are important to a lot of other people. Tens of thousands of these uh, people have participated. So the legends, I think it's important that we focus on metrics as we talk about anything at APG. The legends at HGS had very strong attendance and good web attendance. The Discovery Thinking, you can see we've had quite a few number of web views and actual attendees, combining with international conferences, and then the upscale from fields to plays to the latest Super Basins program, which I think is the first steps towards a future APG tradition. Tomorrow, there will be a session here at ACE on super basins. Come join us tomorrow morning. We have Barry Katz, our elected editor, and I are busy putting together articles for the AAPG Bulletin, and these are going to be rolling out in the months and years ahead, and that there will be super basin conferences going forward in the years ahead. These are basin scale assessments. We recently finished 2 months ago the inaugural Global Super Basin Leadership Conference. And I carefully choose these words. It was global. We had basins on 20 of the world's top basins. And we had a very high percentage of managers, CEOs, chief officers, top executives. So it was truly a leadership conference and the world's experts on the various basins. And we had future experts and future leaders participate in the programs. And we were able to communicate the case on how geoscience matters through interviews with Bob Fricklin that projected out to CERAWeek, and also with the pioneer CEO Scott Sheffield, who is receiving his APG President's Award for his outstanding leadership of integrating geosciences, engineering, and being an absolutely fantastic corporate citizen, getting the above ground issues right. So for me, it's all about where are we going. So here's a graph of where we have been as of 2007, 2008. And if you look at the Permian Basin daily production, you can see that there was a peak in the 70s of peak production, and that over the decades that followed, it had been nothing but a relentless decline. And you might say that there's nothing left to do in the Permian Basin. And you would be very wrong, wouldn't we? Because the future unfolded with the advent of hydraulic fracturing and horizontal wells. There was a boom, and we are now at a daily production rate higher than ever before. It's extraordinary. We have an energy renaissance. And my friend Alan Gilmer and I call this the Pratt infraction. And you can see that it's tied to the uptick in the number of horizontal wells. There are other basins that are not unconventional, but that are conventional and in the offshore that are having a major renaissance as well because of enhanced seismic imaging. And there are some basins like the Gulf of Mexico that are having a renaissance because of both. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the important thing here is that the Permian Basin isn't the only basin having an energy renaissance. We're having a global energy renaissance, and our focus, which is on the future, takes us back to the glorious basins of the past, which have incredible infrastructure. And these are the basins that are now certainly in North America, they're having a resurgence, and there is a major global conversation that's going on. This is dynamic. This is exciting. We're living in potentially one of the greatest golden ages of energy that we've ever had, as the conversation about around the globe looks at these technologies and the potential to adopt these technologies and the potential impact is hundreds of billions of barrels of additional energy, barrels of oil equivalent. This is extremely exciting times. And as we talk about the future, once again, let's refer back to the thousand giant fields of the past shown by the red and green symbols: gas, red; oil, green. And you can see that the giant fields of the past have largely been found either onshore or close to the shorelines, or gradually stepping outwards into deeper and deeper water. But what I find exciting is that on this isopack in yellow and orange and red, there are sedimentary thicknesses that are undrilled package of sediments in deep and ultra deep water, and an explorationist can only imagine that there are many more giants to be found here as well in frontier areas. And so, once again, the question is who are going to find these fields? So, I would like to talk about our young leaders. And I would like you to take a good look at our conference organizers for Salt Lake City. Take a look at their photos. I would like for you to join me and thank them in person. And I want to call out Michael Vandenberg, our general chair, and Lauren Bergenheyer, who recently was named an outstanding educator by the APG Foundation. We owe these fantastic men and women a real appreciation. And let's give them a round of applause. Come on, Lauren and Mike and team. We love you. You guys have done a terrific job, and we thank you for creating this conference. As I travel for APG this year, I have enjoyed most the opportunity to talk with future leaders and seeing them take charge now. So we've just seen many leaders taking charge at the Salt Lake. There are students who are taking charge of running section meetings like those at the Southwest section. And as I've had the opportunity to visit with students at campuses with my executive committee, and in some cases, we've had wonderful, exciting conversations with these talented individuals. And what I like to tell them, or what I like to share with them, is that to be mindful of three things: be a part of the energy solution. This is a noble profession. You're making the world better. Number two, be a lifelong learner. All students, and I'm talking about the IBA students, our champs, our competitors, students here, be a lifelong learner. You get a great education at your universities, but education never stops. If you want to stay relevant, you have to keep learning. And APG can help you with that. Number two. Number three, be proactive. Be engaged. It's important to be a part of your student chapter. It's important to step up, give papers, give talks, attend local society meetings, attend section meetings, attend APG meetings, give posters. Say yes. Step forward. Make it count. And of course, it's fun to participate on field trips. And I know many people are doing that here at Salt Lake City. So, what I'd like for us to remember at this moment, at this time, and at this place is APG is about all of us celebrating meaningful moments together. What I said in my early comments about remembering a special event, something that was spectacular or meaningful, let us create more moments here at this conference that has been prepared for us. Let us go and create more future moments so that we can keep paying it forward. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe that anything is possible and that everything is possible. I'm standing here as a person from Queens, New York. Now, that's proof that anything is possible. Thank you.